talk by Dr. Sri GV Shivakumar Ji. Sri GV Shivakumar Ji is a director of a program in Indica called IKS Changemakers. He has multiple responsibilities in the Indica organization, and he was earlier a resident scholar in Indica, and he is one of the editorial uh, persons in the Indica Today magazine also. He contributed more than 100 articles to Indica Today, and an anthology of books called Arya, edited by him, has made sensation. He gives talks in various forums and organizes events in behalf of Indica. This time, his talk is going to be a highly personal, uh, anecdotal, personal experience based study of a cultural uh, phenomena of Sri Rama Navami being an occasion when a certain community comes back to its original place. Uh, all the people who go to different places from that community come back and meet uh, on the occasion of Sri Rama Navami. There are certain such occasions in India. In many communities, many families have this kind of one festival or ritual occasion when all the families who migrate to different parts of the country, different parts of the world come back and meet. In this particular case that Sri G. Shivakumar ji is going to present, it is Sri Rama Navami which is making the community come back together. Over to you, Sri Shivakumar ji.
Namaste. Thank you, Dr. Nagaraj Garu. As you said, this is a very a personal presentation, unlike many others that I've done. This is this is how a community has internalized Sri Ram Navami and has become much more than a festival being organized. So largely, I will tell a story with these points in mind. Many of you will be aware. I mean, of course, Sri Ram Navami is a festival that is celebrated across the nation with great fanfare, especially in the recent years. But in some states, I know, in Uttar Pradesh, obviously, it's a very big thing, Sri Ram Navami. And even in states like Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh that I'm familiar, Sri Rama Navami is celebrated in a very deep manner. There is a deep-rooted tradition which is repeated every year, and that is not limited to one day. The culture of Ramnavami in Karnataka is that it becomes a festival of either 15 days or 30 days, depending upon what one does. An important emphasis that has to be made is that every town, even a small town, sometimes even a small village, has a Sri Ram Navami in South Karnataka. May not be as much in North Karnataka, but in South Karnataka, definitely, wherever I have gone, whether it is a large city like Bangalore or Mysore, or a small city like Mandya, or you go to a small place like Gundlupet, which is my hometown now of maybe 30,000 people, then of just 5,000 people. There is a reasonably big Sri Ram Mandir. Some community or the other is anchoring that, and every community shapes it in its own way. So the needs of that community is served. So for this it's also important to know that there is a certain Ramayana culture in Karnataka. On the one hand, there are lots of Sri Vaishnavas in Karnataka, especially South Karnataka, and for them, Ramayana is extremely important. It's an important text. The other important thing is that Hampi in South Karnataka, or rather in the middle of the Karnataka state, is deemed to be the Kishkindha, due to which there is a significant pride that an important aspect of Ramayana is associated with this region. And that is a shared heritage between Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka on either side. So the Hampi connection makes a very big difference. There is a Matanga Parvata in Hampi. There is a Hanuman hill and temple out there. There are many legends associated there. So if you go to Hampi ever, you will very clearly see the dominant omniscient presence of Hanuman at Hampi. All of this put together and a deep-rooted Ramayana, Parayana parampara in Andhra, Tamil Nadu, and Karnataka. The Sundarakanda Patana has been a very popular one, and especially with Sri Vaishnavas anchored on it, it has taken much more deep root, with Sri Vaishnavas being in a huge number in South Karnataka. So that has actually impacted the culture of the Smartas also. So coming now with this background, coming to the specific two towns that I'm going to talk about today, which I very well know. One town is Malavalli in Mandya district, and the other town is Gundlupet in Chamarajnagar district. Both these temple towns are very close to Mysore. One is just little northeast of Mysore. The other is a little southwest of Mysore. Uh, so uh, so the Shiva Vaishnava influence is also there very highly in these regions. Both these towns, they are today not more than 30,000 people, and some 30-40 years back actually the population was much lesser, because now there's a lot of surrounding village that has come into this, but then it was hardly you could cross the towns in half an hour on either side by walking. It was that small. uh, both these temples are close to important cultural and religious centers. Nanjangud, the great Srikanteshwara temple, is very close to Gundlupet. And at Malavalli itself, there are several important temples. There is a Narasimha Swami temple very close to Malavalli in a village called Marinahalli, which is really a very, very popular one. And it's a Kula Devata of many people. So it is surrounded by Ganga architecture, Chola architecture, Hoysala architecture, multiple generational temples are there. And the river Kabini or Kapila flows close to Gundlupet, whereas Kaveri is very, very close to Malavalli, the famed town of Talakad, where there are several ancient temples, is very close to Malavalli. So it's surrounded by very many auspicious locations. Bandipur is close to Gundlupet. Not just that, there are some really ancient temples like Gangadhareshwara temple and in Malavalli, and Vijayanarayana temple in Gundlupet. They are ASI protected the temples. With this environment, what the story that I'm coming to narrate today is that of two Sri Rama Mandira Trusts that are operating in the town of Malavalli and the town of Gundlupet for 120 years. The Sri Rama Trust of Malavalli is called Sri Raghava Nandini Sabha, Kote Malavalli. Kote means fort. And that has been there since 1904. Whereas the Gundlupet Sri Rama Mandiram Trust is there from 1908. So one is functioning for 118 years, another is functioning for 121 years. So what do these trusts do? The most important thing they do is they celebrate an annual Sri Rama Navami festival, which is not a single day festival, but a festival that covers 12 to 14 days. It starts on Sri Rama Navami and ends on the day of Pattabhisheka, Sri Rama Pattabhisheka. So here the critical thing is that the Navami is Navami according to the Hindu lunisolar calendar. So it is fixed, it is universal across the nation. Whereas the Pattabhisheka day is not a standard. So it's interesting to note that the town of Malavalli celebrates Sri Rama Pattabhisheka 2 days ahead of the town of Gundlupet. Like that, different community Sri Ram Mandirs celebrate Pattabhisheka on different days. Suffice to say that this tradition of Navami to Pattabhisheka is quite deep rooted in South Karnataka. So at several places you can find this celebration of this. It comes pretty handy that this festival, this celebration happens in the summer vacation. My maternal hometown is Gundlupet, Malavalli, and my paternal hometown is Gundlupet. So as children, we would finish examinations. Most likely it would get over in the month of March, just a little ahead of Sri Rama Navami. And we would go to either of the locations for the Navami, spend time till Pattabhisheka and go to the other location for the rest of the half. So this was our routine for around 10 plus years. This routine has been, people have been doing, all kids in this community called, Muguru Karnataka Brahmanas. This has been happening for a very long time. So the community is anchored around 7-8 towns in South Karnataka, not many more than that, out of which the most prominent towns are Gundlupet and Malavalli. So the community congregates around these two towns without fail during this Sri Ram Navami, 12 to 14 days. So the observation is such that kids would be sent off and they would spend 12 to 14 days completely in one of the locations. And elders would come as and when they have time. So they will make sure that they will be there in either of these locations for at least one day. This was something that I always saw. Importantly, on the Sri Rama Pattabhisheka day or the Navami day, one of these 2 days, the congregation would be very huge. With times, people moved out of Malavalli and Gundlupet, settled largely in Bangalore and Mysore, but also in Mandya and several other cities. But largely, the community being around Bangalore and Mysore has it made it easy for them to come back to the hometown 1 or 2 days at least in the last so many decades. Up until 1980, when the community was not that dispersed, people spent many days. Whereas in the last 10, 20 years after the arrival of the IT industry and then people moving all over the country and even abroad significantly, so this coming together has taken some kind of an impact, but that has been significantly compensated by something else that has happened in the community, and we'll come to that towards the end. How a community adjusts to changes in with time. So suffice today is to say that Navami to Pattabhisheka is really looked at, is waited upon. People wait upon to come back to the location and be a part of it. What is important is the enormity of the two functions. This is how a invitation is. This is the 2024 invitation of Sri Rama Pattabhisheka of my maternal hometown, which is Malavalli. This is a 60-page booklet. Just the invitation is a 60-page booklet. So it starts with an invitation on the left side, written like a formal invitation, traditional invitation. Then it gives details of every day what happens in the 14 days of Sri Rama Navami festival. And the day is quite heavy every single day. It starts at 6:30, goes on up until 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock with a formal traditional Vedic puja. Then a lunch happens. Post lunch, a couple of hours of rest, and again at 5 o'clock, puja starts. Evening is different. A different kind of puja happens, followed by a cultural program. Sometimes it is music, classical music. Sometimes it is a pravachana. Sometimes it is a light music but devotional music. Sometimes it is a dance performance. And often you will have quite renowned people being invited, as well as community members who are talented also participating in it. Like that, every single day there is something happening. Also, the invitation reflects who is contributing as seva for a particular day. And one can see that every single day there are 5, 6 different families contributing something. Somebody is contributing the flowers, somebody is contributing the abhisheka, somebody is contributing the havan homa havan that day, somebody is contributing the evening puja or the funds required for inviting somebody to for a performance. Thus the entire community is participating in some way or the other, even if they cannot. This is how now the community has compensated for the difficulty of everybody coming in, and also the community makes sure that somebody from the family is there minimum during this program. Largely, since everybody looks forward to be attending, so it becomes such that if a large family everybody cannot come together, they will all come on different days and be associated with. This is such a voluntary thing. There is no force. It's just the power of the Sri Rama Mandir and of Sri Rama himself, and also the tapasya of the elders to have built an institution such as this. That it's an experience that nobody wants to miss, and that is how people are there. Once a community is well formed on its own, the community never destroys its connections. Only an external force can destroy the connection of a community, simply because the community enjoys so much, there is so much joy in being together, and there is so much security being in a community. Nobody, with all the modernity on this earth, with all the attractions and seductions of modern world, uh, people have not abandoned wanting to be part of this community and this community gathering. It's important that everybody participates in some way or the other. In the morning, the puja, after the formal Vedic puja, up a along with Homa, Veda mantras, everything happens. Then finally, women participate through music, and then the final Mahamangalarti happens. Then the food happens. The entire community is there to serve also. As kids, we all participated in serving food, and it was something there was a competitive spirit in participating in serving food, where the congregation used to be very, very huge. Those days, when the community hall was not yet constructed, 4 streets of the community would be available to everybody. The large houses, food would be actually a formal traditional food would be presented in 5 6 large houses, and everybody had a free entrance to all the houses, and the very presentation of food and serving of food itself was another enjoyable community ritual, rather a festival in itself. Thus, eh, the whole the whole festival is held up not just by the core committee, but also by the participating community members. While that was the reality for the elders, for children it was somewhat different. For the children, it was the entire town or the 4 streets was a playground. Your uh, breakfast happened somewhere, coffee happened elsewhere. Then in between food, you visited somebody else's house and you ate, you were offered something else. Lunch happened at the Ram Mandir. Again, evening tea happened elsewhere. So nobody knew who was where. And since the 4 streets were all belong to the single community, the experience was that of an entire town being at your disposal. Children would be playing all around, all kinds of rural games, plus even modern games like cricket. Everything would be happening. So literally, everything was happening all around, all through the day. When this happens, the bonding is very deep. It is like every kid had a motherly relationship with, you know, 25, 30 elders in the community. That is a different experience. On the last day, when we all would go back, the just doing namaskaram to everybody before returning to Bangalore itself would take 1 to 2 hours. Just going to everybody's house, doing namaskar, and then going back. So that many number of people we were connected. We are connected today. We continue to be connected. In some ways, we strive to make it possible for our next generation also. It's also important that this Sri Rama Mandira's impact is not just in the duration of Sri Rama Navami and the next 14 days. It is also there throughout the year in different ways. This community chants Sri Rama Nama every Saturday. Saturday is the Hanuman day. So on that day we chant. It's the concise version of Ramayana, which is referred to as Shuddha Brahma Pararama. It is very famous. Even in North India, it is quite famous. But this community has a special way of singing this, which every kid knows in the community without anybody teaching, because everybody has learnt it, and most people do this Shri Ram Nam in the on Saturdays. It has become such a deep practice, and you're immersed in the Shri Ram Mandir for a few years. You will learn it, within a few days, and then you don't forget. So the last kid in the community knows a significant part of this entire Ramayana being, described by few maybe 100 lines of shlokas, and it's a Sanskrit shloka, and everybody knows it. And every evening, even today, every Saturday evening, even today, it happens. It's not just that. Before that, some shlokas are there, and after that, some bhajans are there. So it's about a 15-minute to 20-minute affair, and everybody knows this. This is a community signature. That is a consequence of this Sri Rama Navami. And the way it binds people is unbelievable. Not just that, throughout the year there are religious activities, Vedic religious activities are there. There are Navratri celebrations, Shravana Masa celebrations, Kartika Dipotsava celebrations. So Magh Masa celebrations, Dhanur Masa celebrations. Everything is exclusive, and the whole thing happens according to laid out standards by elders, largely Vedic. People have put in money in the bank for every puja to be sustainably served. So most of the a significant part of the fund comes from this investments in the bank itself. At the same time, every year funding is sought, and this funding is not just sought by the community. The community has built relationships. The way it has happened is our friends, other Brahmana community members whom we know very well. So all put together, it has become a much larger extended family than just the single community. So the community plus its friends and well-wishers all put together, is what they contribute to this. Shodasha Samskara functions happen, marriages happen, Upanayanas happen, so many Upanayanas, so many marriage functions have happened over there. All this, this constant going back, constantly being connected, constantly keeping track of what's happening out there, has resulted in a very tremendous family and community bond, uh, which I've seen in very less places. The community, the Rama Mandira Trust honors individuals when somebody completes a PhD or when somebody is awarded elsewhere. So every external respect, honor received is also reflected, in a traditional way over here. All this has been possible because of selfless community leadership. What originally started as a family enterprise, rather by a single kula or even a single family, gradually became a community enterprise, and in the last 20 years has assumed the form of an institution through processes. As the complexity of modern life has increased, slowly, steadily, they have, brought in some modern processes, and it is gradually becoming a modern institution without losing its traditional character with all pushes and pulls. So thus, we have the Sri Rama Mandir, which some of our ancestors started in Malavalli. Now it is beyond the ancestors, beyond our own immediate family. Similarly, some of the community elders started in Gundlupet, and it has become beyond that. So whatever be one's denomination, whatever be one's pursuit, nobody wants to be not associated with the Sri Rama Mandir. There is a respect and honor and the sense of sacred and selflessness associated with this. And this is one space where everybody is equal, whether somebody is an extremely rich man or a extremely poor man within the community, it does not matter. So the fact that it brings everybody on a common page with a common respect, when people are taking arati, they're all the same, and there is a sense of everybody wanting to hold and uplift others. So the emotional relationship created uh, naturally results in all kinds of stuff. Thus, the now the community, it's the community's Ishtadevata, but gradually it has become from community devata to personal Ishtadevata. That is how Sri Rama has moved. It's possible because of the emotional dimension that Ramayana and Sri Rama Navami Rama brings. It's easy for people to connect with Rama and Ramayana, and this engagement with and immersion in this whole thing has shaped even members of the community to imbibe Rama's way in a subconscious manner. So the number of people who strived for all their family members to be well placed is extremely high, especially if one was an elder son. So the ideal has a kind of subconsciously impacted every person, and without any intellectualizing around that, these things happen naturally. At least I personally know some of those exemplars, who the community always remembers forever. This is the story of my community, which has anchored itself around Sri Rama and Ramayana and the Rama Mandira, and ensured that a Vedic 14-day festival becomes a community celebration and community immersion and sustenance of the entire community. Some photographs for you people. So this is the front of the Gundlupet Sri Rama Mandira invitation. This is how it comes every year. In this packed invitation, literally all detailed, every day what happens, which homa happens, which day, which puja happens, which day, who is sponsoring food that day, who is sponsoring something else that day. Everything is there, starting from the Hindu calendar details of the day. Everything, every single thing is there in this. This is the Malavalli Sri Rama Mandira invitation. This is the English version. This is the Kannada version. And this is the day split. Every page has this kind of a day split. Who sponsors Kshira Rudrabhisheka? Who sponsors Panchamrita Nivedane? Who sponsors Sri Rama Sahasranama celebration? Who sponsors Ramanama Taraka Homa? Who is sponsoring Pavamana Homa? All this is happening that day. And you can see the number of people sponsoring is more than the number of religious rituals. That much fund is required to run that. This is how and that is this, which is the 60-page invitation. It not just contains this, it contains everybody who is contributed to everything else also, year-long festivals also, along with people who have given advertisements to the book. So the community members who run enterprises contribute to Sri Rama Navami, and in return their contributions are presented by giving an ad to their enterprise. So there is commerce also happening in parallel. And here is the community hall built by an illustrious family in our community. And every year that ad comes because that is the investment that has transformed the family enterprise of Sri Rama Mandiram into a full-fledged institutional establishment. Hence, in memory, every year they get the ad space and so on, depending upon the contribution, they get it. So this prestigious space is something that everybody looks forward to. This is the Sri Rama Mandira. I'm showing some photographs from the Malavalli Sri Rama Mandira. Large space. This is the Garbhangana, as you can see, and these are all the Vedic Pandits who are celebrating. We had two important members, very senior, very, very learned Vedic persons. One was from Malavalli itself, who was a Avadhani. Another person was in Kolar and would come to Gundlupet every year. And of course, he had learnt it from the Godavari districts. Even our Avadhani also had Sringeri and Godavari district learning over there. So, this is the Garbhangana, and the pujas are all extremely formal and ritual. So this is the Homa and Havana. This is my contemporary cousin who performs the puja, who is performing the Homa. We have a lot of learned purohitas and learned shastris who can do several pujas and havans in our community. Not so much as Shastra, Vedangas, or Darshana Shastra scholars, but Paurohitya and ritualistic performance scholars are there in a significant measure. And the community itself has incubated a Veda learning and Paurohitya learning center so that the community members can come and learn over there uh, full time. So that is, I'm not talking about part time learners. This is the Purvasudis, the ancestors of the Malavalli Sri Rama Mandira. So different persons have been presidents. Typical tradition is that the elder person will be the president, and all the young people work as secretaries and then strive it. So this is starting from the most ancient, and this is the recent ones. So this is the deep view of the hall. This hall has been built because of the contribution of the industrialist in the community. Uh, one by name Kumar Malavalli, very famous man in the US. This is our sole Avadhani, the most learned Veda Pandit of our community. Just outside, we have a Gangadhareshwara temple. People who come there also come here. It's an ancient Ganga's era temple. It's a beautiful, simple temple, Shiva temple. It's a place of great Vairagya. And there's also a nice inscription outside that shows the importance of the ancient importance of the place. So this kind of a space being available to a community, I've not added the Gundlupet photographs. This kind of space, in its immersion, all children from Bangalore when they go here, those days they don't push for their mobile phones as much. Of course, they don't stay away from their phones. So as much as in Bangalore, it is less. You can say it's lesser, but not completely absent. But the atmosphere gives them that energy and that enjoyment to not stretch for digital indulgence. And this was even more so in the past. And it's not just Vedic, there's a lot of fun festivals there. Hanumantotsava is something that we all look forward with great fun. Evening Ram Bhajans used to be, taking a lamp and going around to every single house. And we had a holy like festival on one of these 14 days, not exactly on Holi. One of these 14 days had a holy like indulgence, and that used to be something that we kids looked forward. So there was something, uh, you know, for everybody in this. There is something for everybody in this festival. So this small presentation. It's more than a presentation, I would say. This is an emotional submission for me, because from age 3 to age 15, literally every year I've gone. Half the time, either I've spent more time in Malavalli or spent more time in Gundlupet, and have seen tons and scores of my cousins doing that, and that is the bond that we have. A bond that was established in Gundlupet and Malavalli is never ever lost. It is, even if you meet after 25 years, it is still remaining. Thus, a, a, a sacred enterprise, a sacred performance has become the sheet anchor for an entire community to rally around and keep itself together. Dhanyavad.
Yeah, yeah. There is a very long comment by Arvind AS. He is appreciating you by saying thank you very much for highlighting our cultural celebration of Sri Rama Navami. The event is celebrated in much the same way in my village, Agrahara also, near Ramantapura, Hassan district, Karnataka.
Yes.
The event is extended for 2 more days after Sri Rama Pattabhisheka and climaxes with Hanumadotsava,
Yes.
a function dedicated to the puja of Anjaneya.
Yes.
Secondly, today the public distribution of a cucumber kosambari, lime
Yes.
juice and buttermilk or majjige at every
Yes.
nook and corner of every street in cities and towns of South Karnataka is
Yes.
to be mentioned.
Yes. Absolutely.
This is from
Absolutely.
this is
That's
from Arvind AS.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's hardly a town in South Karnataka that will not have this indulgence, is my sense, actually. Absolutely. It's very, very similar to this.
So, in the whole coverage of topics of this symposium, this adds a new dimension, a Ramayana related festival being an occasion where a community comes back to uh, getting to its cultural identity, community identity, and community formation, and festival functioning as a community bonding tool. Uh, we had sculptures, we had paintings, we had classical music, classical dance, and other topics. But this is a totally different kind of a sociological uh, happening, a community formation happening topic. So this is a wonderful addition to the remaining kind of topics. Thank you very much, Shiva.